Hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about stuff. So I'm making this video because I've seen over the course of the last 2.5 weeks, a lot of YouTubers, they shall not be named, are making videos to basically fearmonger, to make people afraid, to make them terrified, not really understanding exactly what's going on. I'm here to simplify it for you in the easiest way possible. It is really not that difficult and it's really not that scary. So basically what's happening is the United States Federal Reserve, the people who print the money, the people who've been trying to bring down inflation with interest rate hikes, are basically trying to create a brand new payment system that will replace the current system that we have and have been using, at least within the United States, since the 1970s. It is called SWIFT. It's SWIFT, which is basically a messaging service. You can look it up. I had an argument with someone before who told me that he was a banker and he knew what was going on and he knew all these other things about finance, and got a little annoyed that I was just a cryptocurrency finance YouTuber, and I told him that SWIFT was a messaging system, and he nearly lost it. Kid you not. And I Googled it very quickly on my phone and I showed him, and he got very upset and actually walked away for a little bit. You think I'm lying? It is a messaging system from the 1970s. It is basically used to relay messages to other places around the world until it finally gets to one spot that it is trying to go to. It is old, it is archaic, it should not have been used for this long. However, this sounds a little weird and silly because of the rise in popularity of cryptocurrencies. We're seeing a large amount of governments now talking about creating their own stablecoins, their own CBDCs, their own central bank digital currencies, and also things like FedNow, which is basically a brand new payment system, which is meant to replace the old one that the United States has been using once again since the 1970s. It is meant to be, and it is advertised as a way to send money around the world 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Why does this sound weird? Because everything else in the world functions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Your phone, the internet, sending money, tapping your card, swiping your card, depending on where you go, it is all the exact same thing. And money essentially flows nonstop, also once again within the cryptocurrency space. I've been into crypto for a very long time, and I remember a long time ago one of the generalized ideas from people who were into banking and into the traditional financial sector is that things were fine. We didn't need anything quicker or faster than we already have them. And the idea of having the financial system also opened up on the weekends, or having the stock market open on the weekends, was absolute nonsense. So when the cryptocurrency space and many cryptocurrency exchanges began to make billions of dollars on weekends and during the days and nights when they were constantly open, this is why we're seeing the shift that we're currently in the middle of right now. It has to do with the old system trying to catch up with the new one, and this is why them advertising that it is 24/7 is completely weird, because everything else around us is already 24/7. So basically, in essence, this is meant to replace Bitcoin. I've seen a lot of naysayers before, and I'm not here to make you a yay-sayer. It's more so this is going to happen one way or another. Now, here we go. You're going to be upset, and this is not my problem. Cryptocurrencies are going to take over the world. They're going to continue spreading. I just saw someone click the X. Goodbye to you. For those of you who are still here and are trying to understand, how do I know this? Well, because the largest companies and institutions on the planet, like BlackRock and Fidelity, have openly gotten into the cryptocurrency space, and they're actively buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going to continue to expand. However, there are a couple of countries who don't really want this to happen explicitly. The idea is that the US dollar is meant to be the currency that everyone else around the world is forced to use, and therefore if you can create something new, FedNow, that other people could be coerced into using, therefore, this will be the new thing that people will decide to use. This goes along the lines of, for a number of years ago, for those of you who were actually here, there was something called blockchain, not Bitcoin. This was something that banks began to say around 2014, 2015, under the idea that banks and institutions believed that all of us simply wanted a brand new way of transacting in money. And this is why people began to move over to the cryptocurrency space, not understanding that we're tired and terrified and annoyed of their old economic policies, which continue to destroy the world and debase currencies. And therefore, they came up with the idea that, well, people simply want something on a blockchain and they don't want Bitcoin. Of course, that didn't work out because Bitcoin continues to become more and more popular. So then you create something like a central bank digital currency or a government stablecoin. Yep, so governments are also creating stablecoins as well in an effort, I think, to try and be cool and hip, just to let people know that they also have a stablecoin as well. What the Fed is creating is essentially a brand new payment system, but, and I say this in the nicest way possible, it is going to be a shiny version of the same garbage that we had before. There are no new economic policies. The dollar is still going to be inflating. Everything is going to be the same as it was before, except that things will be far more digitized now. And they're using that as a way to tell you that things are going to be better, but it's actually just to have more control. When everything is digitized and you are disincentivized from actually using a dollar or using a piece of paper or using paper money, they can control and know exactly where all of your payments and currencies are going. The idea is to get rid of your private life in the nicest way possible by saying that they're making it more convenient for you, because for some reason over the last couple of years, governments have become incredibly paranoid when it comes to anti-money laundering rules for whatever reason that might actually be happening. This is why you've seen a couple of countries lower their, you know how like normally if you try to like send money through a bank or anywhere, if you're traveling, it says like, if you have more than $10,000, you have to tell us. A lot of countries have lowered that to $5,000 and even to $1,000. Some type of hyper paranoia that's actually going on. So with FedNow launching, it is going to be a digital way to be able to send money, similar to a central bank digital currency that's going to be controlled by the people who create the money. There will be no new economic policies. It will not be better than Bitcoin. It will continue to inflate as Bitcoin is finite. I know that I keep mentioning Bitcoin, but you have to really understand the reason why we have all of these things. We have FedNow and central bank digital currencies because we have Bitcoin. Right. The other thing that I've been seeing people fear-mongering other people about comes down to the idea of the one world currency. One of the most popular things when it comes to finance. I know a lot of you have seen the magazines and the newspapers from the 1970s and 1980s where they show like a coin on a screen or something like that, or in a magazine, and they're like, this will be the one world currency. It's going to bring down the entire... Do any of you know what the one world currency is? Do you know that we already have a one world currency? It's the US dollar, and we've had it running strong since around 1945, 1946. I know some of you are going like, yeah. There's something called the Bretton Woods Agreement. This basically happened after, we've gone over this before. This basically happened after WW2, where it was decided by the United States that they would be the reserve currency of the entire planet. So other currencies basically have to flow through them, and or other countries were basically forced to use the US dollar as the only form and method of it. There are a lot of different countries around the world. You can look up the countries that are constantly under sanctions. Do you know why they're under sanctions? Because they usually have decided at some point to not use the US dollar. This is why it's called the petrodollar. Yeah, a lot of places that create petrol and or gasoline, what you put inside of your car, they are forced as the final settlement of their transactions to always be in the US dollar. It is already the one world currency. I saw a couple of other YouTubers who were making stuff about and I mean, this was explicitly in their video, and I sat there shocked that you could be so special to make a video like that, to just simply try and scare other people, announcing that FedNow was going to be the one world currency. No, we already have one and have had one for a very long time. What you see now are other countries trying to get away from the US dollar, because I can imagine you had your own country and you were forced to use the US dollar, and every transaction that ended had to be finalized in US dollars as well. It also comes with remittances. If you're sending money around the world, Western Union and MoneyGram, you know, a lot of them have to pre-fund their accounts with physical US dollars. You have to literally order and have and pay for US dollars to have inside of a literal room to be able to send money. Yeah, the world is really weird, I know. So yeah, FedNow is a digital payment system created by the Federal Reserve, the people who are creating and printing the US dollar. It is nothing scary. It is nothing new. We've also known that this was going to happen for a very long time. Is it going to be hyper centralized? Yes, they're the people who create the US dollar. Is it anything to be scared about? No, because we knew that this was going to happen, and there are no new economic policies, and there won't be any new economic policies. The only economic policy is to make sure about the strength and sovereignty of the US dollar as the world reserve currency. Did everyone get that? Cool. Just thought I'd make a video to explain this to all of you as well. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. Tried to just help out. Hope you all are having a great day. Great morning, great afternoon, great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and or supporting, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.